Here we go. It's a Wednesday. This is weird, but it happens.
A little off.
We're gonna stay faithful to this Gazette. We're just gonna make sure you guys get all the stuff you need. Let's start off with a public service announcement. So those of you who are GG token holders, you will need to get into your email, and I actually found mine in my spam. So, but it's coming from admin@ggcollective.gg. It's got what is it? It's a link to a Google Doc that you need to fill out some information, and that will set you up so you can be connected to the governance portal, and there are going to be some votes coming soon. Blake, anything specific needed to be added to that, or is that pretty much the long and short of it?
I would say, just little addition, obviously, like you said, admin@ggcollective.gg. If anyone gets any sort of suspicious email, if you're questioning anything, ask us. We open a support ticket that we just added that as an option in Discord. Check with us. We're here. We want to make sure everyone's going through the right things and not giving out information to people that shouldn't have it. So, additionally, for anyone listening, if you are in this situation, there are a couple people that still haven't filled out one of the forms from Seed Starter themselves. Mm-hmm. So if you are one of those people, make sure you fill that out, and that way we can get the rest of the banking stuff cleared and really start to get moving on it. But we just wanted to make sure that was clarified that this is the email we will be contacting you from. Any email we contact you from will be at ggcollective.gg, but specifically for now, look out for that.
Cool. Also, similarly connected, the Deep Network is they kicked off a referral promo contest, and you can win a Deep device. What's the sticker price on those? Is it still $11.11?
Yes.
So that's a sizable prize. That's very nice to get your hands on that, just for telling a couple people about it. Maybe more than a couple. The contest could be fierce. Who knows?
But the reason we posted this in the GG, because some people are going to be like, well, what's up with the Fortune Crypto thing? Fortune Crypto has been a big part of kind of getting the GG Collective started. He's what brought me into this. He has his own Discord, and to get into that Discord, you have to have one of his forged hammers, which we will just send out to you. Don't buy one on OpenSea or anything like that. Like, we're not selling them. So if you see someone selling one, don't buy it. But yeah, it's just kind of our way to kind of like token gate, make sure we don't get botted down. We like to have good discussions in there. But anywho, Deep is a part of Nerd Node. That's kind of a cross collaboration in itself. Yeah. Being in the Deep in space, there's a lot that we're hoping to do with the Deep Network and Nerd Node down the road as the collective, whether that's looking at hosting games like NFT, whether we could do our own backend cloud storage, whatever that looks like. So we want to help make sure they kind of get off to the ground running and people are aware of all the cool things they're doing over there.
Yeah. I saw that there's also some devices that are going to be handed out for social media engagement, things like commenting on YouTube, Twitter posts and things like that. Or I guess on the YouTube videos too. Also like memes and things like that. So people that are actively engaged, you have a chance to make an impression and receive one of those as a prize as well. So that sounds like a good idea to just get involved. Start telling people about it in whatever possible platform. There was some notes on there. Make sure to tag it. Get the hashtag Deep or the cash tag Deep. Also, if you're using things like Twitter, so that they can track it easily. NFTD has had some really cool stuff happen. They finally unlocked the keys, so you can buy the keys in the GG Collective store. They're 10,000 Hopia per key. You can get them for either the Ethereons or the Galorians, and there's different things that come from each. So there are different NFT towers that are associated with each faction. And then also, once you open these gates, the towers that come through these, they're not the same. You're gonna have to choose your side based on your place.
And they are replicated in that sense, as far as there's going to be like a whether it's an arrow tower type situation for each, defense towers for each. They're going to have, there are kind of two sides. That story is going to keep getting told as NFTD keeps getting built. But this is just kind of the beginning stages. So, okay, kind of pick your side. You want to be on kind of the light or the dark side, and which towers do you want to start accumulating?
I personally like the Galorians with the Frost Tower. That was the one that I was playing with. I was seeing some success there, just slowing down the waves a bit. And there's also the Astral Seed Tower over there for healing, which is super nice, so that you don't lose a lot of points from getting your towers blown up. But Etherion's got some great stuff too. Isn't the Forge Hammer Tower over there? Yeah, so that's a tough choice. you gotta choose wisely. You get 3 towers per key, and the rarities include, like, instead of epic, I think it's mythic, and then mythic, ancient, celestial. They do have the common, uncommon, rare, but then I think it goes mythic, ancient, and celestial is like beyond ancient. So it's like really, really good stuff there. But we've seen a couple really awesome towers get pulled. Some of them posted in Discord. Get in there. Let us know how they're working. Like, I'd be interested to see a comparison from tower to tower with the rarities. But beyond that, just like, how does it affect your playstyle? Which of these towers is really going to stay like meta specific? Which ones are going to help more than others?
Yeah.
And there's probably no one that would be able to tell us better than MetaMug. Although I have seen that Forged in Crypto has been heating up the charts. He gave MetaMug a race. Forged just posted this morning that he made it past level 19, which MetaMug still hasn't done. So wave 19 is his kryptonite, and he can't break it. But he has found a way to get really efficient and not lose towers. And he ended up posting a score of 3476 for this week, and that's like, wow, that's like more than 50% higher than the usual like range of scores. So he went nuts this week.
Wow, through it. Yeah, he's
definitely setting the pace. Anyone wants to kind of keep up with him is going to have their work cut out for him. But there's a lot of people that get onto that leaderboard. You can get Hopia deep into that. So go ahead and play. Post some numbers. Make sure you click that charge button so that it counts for the competition. Remember, 5 charges a day. You can play all you want, but only the charged ones count for the leaderboard. Other collective news. Arcade is switching their payouts. They've been paying in USD. They're going to be switching to the CADE token, and they decided to do something like funky with how the prizes are paid out. If you're in first place, you get the premium prize. You get the best with 2 CADE tokens. But every other prize category is an even number on the board. So if you place 5th, you don't get anything. But 6th, you'll get half a CADE token. so Doc just put it up there as be first or be even. MetaMug is also active over here, and he was like, I put it up as be even or be evil, because he took 6th place in all of them, or at least had 6th place in all of them. So it was 666. So be even or be evil, whatever it takes. Don't shoot for an odd placement, but that's going to create some neat little jockeying with points. How many times have you been encouraged not to do quite so well at a game in order to be able to play?
I know, right?
Well,
I mean, hey, mix it up a little bit, right?
Yeah. I personally like that. You have some people that I mean, there's luck of the draw kind of stuff that happens in that too. So it's just a little bit more fun, I guess. So keeps you on your toes, so you're not just like grinding really, really, really hard. You have something else to be looking at.
Absolutely.
Mooncast gave us a really encouraging heads up. They're going to be doing Milestone 2 this Friday. It's scheduled for 2:30 Pacific, I think, is the time. And they're going to be going over what they've done since the last Milestone, kind of like collecting everything. There was some, I don't know if you caught this, but there was some hinting about a little missive that was back and forth between Eric and Jason. They were saying something about oh, it's really hard to finish a game in X number of months. And Eric was like, yeah, it's even harder to finish a game in 4 days. And someone was like, does that mean we're going to get a game in 4 days? And there was kind of like a sneaky, like kind of like not telling you, but who knows? We might have something to look at or play with very soon.
No
Not to
comment.
get anyone's hopes up. I'm just kind of reporting what I'm seeing in Discord. There's something happening, and we do have the milestone to look forward to on Friday. So I would say tune in and see what they have to tell us about that.
No comment.
And Jason's been faithful with the update again, and I'm pretty sure that this week it included something about being served cereal on private jets in Nantucket. Those were the words that I don't know. My brain was rearranging out of the text there. But I did also see that Jason and Eric did a bunch of stuff with the blockchain, and one of the things that came out of it was that you're going to be able to. They kind of laid the groundwork for a purchasing platform to be so that you can mint NFTs real time in exchange for ERC20 tokens. And we got a little like shout out to Bodhi there. Like say you wanted to use Bodhi to buy something. So that seems to be on the menu too. That's very cool. We didn't get a direct reference to Jelly Pomotutu, but we did see that Angel and Maxi were dealing with a bunch of the motion matching, just the motion system in general. Catherine as well. Apparently, she was building out the jungle gym that they're going to be able to take their characters and just like run them over all sorts of things.
Nice.
Running, jumping, climbing, falling, all of that. Yeah. So they'll be able to see how it looks, see how it works. And the art team has grown by 2 members. They added Glorimar and Jonah, and so those guys are. They're both working on new stuff in regards to what was it? The visual art.
Yeah, Glorimar's great.
Textures was the other thing I was saying. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, Glorimar was working with NFTD for a couple months, and she's an amazing 3D artist. And yeah, it was just perfect. I remember Jason reached out and he was like, "Could we steal Glorimar maybe?" And I'm like, yeah, let me see. Like, and we're like, yeah, okay, that actually, like, where we're at in our process, like, that's perfect. Let's keep her in our little ecosystem, keep our people fed, you know what I mean? Like, it's as much as we can, right? If we can hold on to the people that, have been a part of these original visions,
Yeah, they know what they're doing, don't they?
They know how to work together. It all works pretty nicely together.
Yeah. So I do like the happy family feel of all this stuff. We start off with just some GG Collective news, and then just like kind of like we have this ball of like stuff happening, and it's happening in all sorts of different directions. It's like kind of amoebic, it like stretches out and
absolutely
goes forward. But then we also have the stuff that we're looking at that's, I would say, just kind of like collateral or tangential to what we're doing. We've been pretty faithful to covering some specific stuff. One of the ones that we were talking about, we brought attention to this Battle Showdown Gambit. Now this past week, they rebranded. They're calling themselves Gambit Finance now. So they have their like brawler game, but they want their focus to be on this trading platform for bits for players. That's, I think their person, like obviously they love their game that they've built, but I think their personal focus is primarily this platform, because it's really something that it's stepping into a new way to do things with games, where you are not necessarily even a player, you are observing players. So this is as a spectator, as a fan, can get involved. Now, they announced a new partnership, and they said that the next game that they're bringing into the fold is Dota 2. So they're going to be making available bits for people that are playing Dota 2, which, I don't know, to me, that's like absolutely massive. What's your take on it?
I mean, when you look at Dota 2 is by far one of the biggest esports, is I think
Yeah.
kind of the realm that everyone's really trying to tap into, because it all kind of trickles down from there to a degree. If all the esports players are playing one game, there's probably going to be a big following. And adding that in, Dota 2 is one of the biggest esports games out there. If not, it might be the biggest in terms of maybe League of Legends. But either way, huge game. And the fact that, what they're trying to add in with you being able to, I don't know if they're going to call it betting or whatever, but being invested in a player. I mean, thinking about it from an esports side, that's like, okay, that's kind of like betting on your favorite player to win, so to speak. I mean, that's kind of the way I internalize it. I'm like, well, that's kind of no different than sports betting or anything like that. It's just kind of adding that in. Obviously there's different pieces to it, but that aspect of it is very interesting to me.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, and I was glad to see the not financial advice stuff flash up there. This one seems to be in murky territory, but there are a couple things that are out there. I'm not going to name names, but some of these projects are intentionally pushing boundaries. It looks like these guys might be that. We know that Ready Player One is near and dear to the hearts of most people that found their way to blockchain gaming, because the idea was that you could have a connection between your real world situation and your entertainment situation, your fantasy situation, your gaming situation. So most of us are familiar at least with the story, if not really looking specifically for that in the games that we've been drawn to. And this is just another step into that world. It'll be interesting to see how everything goes for them. But
yeah,
a collaboration where they're able to name Dota 2 without like having that be a copyright infringement. Like there's a partnership here. They're
bringing
players in
the second it came out.
Yeah. So this could be neat and definitely worth tracking as far as just a story. Oasis, there it is. Thanks, Arthur. You're right.
Oh, and before we move on real quick, Arthur did have another comment that I didn't get to.
Yeah.
We haven't really talked about anything kind of on the Gala side, in a little bit. But that is, for anyone that hadn't heard, the Last Expedition team is no longer going to be working on that project. Seems to be, maybe somewhat similar to kind of what had gone down with some of the other teams so far with some of the other games. I don't really have any other information outside of just the public statements of, we're no longer a part of this. They're open and looking to new work and stuff like that. But yeah, it sucks. Last Expedition was a really cool one. I thought that one was one that could actually really make it, because in terms of looking at that kind of esportsy, the shooter rogue aspect of being able to extract and stuff, it was a cool, engaging thing. And then not to mention the side of being able to own the monsters, and you're going to be able to build up the dual nature of it. I was really interested on kind of the world building side. I'm like, that would be just cool, just trying to design like the hardest thing to extract from or whatnot, just being like, oh god, do we want to go try to, like, if you're playing Destiny, or I remember back in the day, like going and doing the raids, you're like, okay, we got to prep up and get ready for this, because this is going to be brutal if we want to try and get out. So
I remember some of those servers, there were some of the server owners that they had bought a bunch of extra ancient monsters. The Ravagers, they had Bone Snappers, things like that. They were just filling it out, and there was a threat level indicator on each of the different servers, and some of those guys were like seriously nightmares. Like you needed to be prepared. Anyway, there was another little fun fact, strangely, that came out of this. But Jason Hughes, our Mooncast lead dev, or at least I don't know what his title is. He's just the dude that lets us know everything that's going on and does a lot of stuff too.
He's the Mooncast developer for sure.
Well, apparently he worked with a lot of the guys on that team to release NBA Jam 2004.
Mm-hmm.
So like, this is a small world, I guess.
I know it is. Yeah, it is funny how small everyone seems to have been. Like, oh yeah, I worked with them on this project, I think, or oh yeah, like I know them just mutually. You got to think of it. Traditional game devs that are now in the crypto blockchain world, there's probably only so many of them. So
That's fair. That's fair.
especially ones that were building really awesome, cool things.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to, nice. He is the Gandalf of our community. I don't know. We have a neon Gandalf. Las Vegas Lance. I think he merits that. He's definitely got the facial hair for it.
I was like, he's got the beard for it for sure. I met him in Austin.
Yeah.
During that Miranda's meetup.
Nice.
I wasn't at the meetup. I just lived down here, so I just went and crashed and got free beer. But it was no, yeah, he's great. He's hilarious.
He is great. One of the other games we've been keeping an eye on, it has been quiet recently. You know, we were talking about some of the Discord games that they were running where you could pick up Yarn, which is kind of like a soft currency that would enable you could buy essentially lots that would you'd get packets that would give you Nyan tokens in exchange. But they had a town hall meeting last week that just it was the amount of information in it was just really stunning. I want to kind of step through this carefully, not too slow, but I don't want to miss anything here because there was a lot, and it was really fantastic to hear because if you flash back to when season 2 was out, they were one of Epic Games. They were one of the top 30 most played games on Epic. Yeah. You know, and they're in pre-alpha. Okay, this is still pre-alpha testing where they're just like kind of like running people through and making sure that the stuff works, making sure they're happy with it. They're as of now, they're still just doing play to airdrop tokenomics. They haven't really introduced a whole lot of syncs for it, or then they haven't declared anything in regards to like a steady outflow of the token. But you can get your hands on Nyan tokens if you're playing the game. If you're going through, whether it's the social media kind of games that they have going on, or once this season starts again, season 3 comes, there's going to be another chance to pick up the Nyan token. So their founder, he goes by Max Marrow in Discord. He dropped news that the former economic director for EVE Online has been hired to flesh out their tokenomics. So this is a guy that obviously knows about gaming economies. You don't become the director of EVE Online's economy without knowing how to like keep an eye on an economy or stabilize an economy. So he's a huge add to their team. That's going to, I'm sure it's going to be incredibly helpful for them to be able to create something that's sustainable. I'm really looking forward to what they come up with in regards to the way that they include their token in with a game that's already a lot of fun, even though it's only in pre-alpha.
Yeah.
They announced 2 new classes. The Scout, which is like a quick one. They said that it's like it blips across the screen, and apparently it has an electrical weapon that can. It seems like it's like got a stun capability. They also are releasing the Mage, which is it's a cross between like Mage Warlock kind of thing, which uses some. I don't know, some creepier stuff apparently. But again, these are mechs, so that's like the cat's in cat mechs.
Yeah.
So they're filtering all of it through the basic idea. There's going to be a new primary weapon, which will be an energy weapon. So that'll be available to all classes. That's another really cool thing about the way that they're doing this. You can use any of the primary weapons, regardless of what class you are. It's just your special attacks and your abilities are going to be slightly different based on which loadout or which class you choose. There's going to be a new game mode. They're calling it payload. You're going to have one team that's essentially pushing the payload and one team that's trying to interfere with that. It'll be interesting to see how those are designated. But also a new feature that they're putting in, and this may end up turning into a sync. They're going to be adding what they're calling them add-ons, which they're like attachments for a player's board. So you can essentially customize your character. Add-ons are going to drop at the end of games. They're going to be different rarities, and you can assign them, if you choose, to your different characters based on which class they're for. But it makes the game more modular, more personalized, more customizable. And I think that's going to be a really really exciting part of this, because you're going to be able to take a certain class and kind of stretch it a little bit further in one direction or another, depending on your play style. And that's that'll make for people to be able to play at their best, and I think it'll make for greater competition and make it a lot more fun for people too.
Absolutely.
So they're in the middle of talking about all these new things, and all of a sudden they're like, and we're looking at September 4th for the new date. So they just decided to drop the date in the midst of this as well. So it's going to be a 3-week test for season 3, tentatively for September 4th. They did say that, okay, sometimes things come up. It is game development, but that's what they're shooting for. And they said this time around it's going to be another 0.5% of the token supply, so 5 million Nyan tokens for the airdrop. They're extending it a little bit more towards the players and less towards the NFT owners this time. So it's more like a 70-30 split. But they're going to give the NFT holders 2 weeks early access. Now, that's just going to be playtime. That's not going to count towards the airdrop, so they won't get any points there. But it will allow them to familiarize themselves a little bit more with there's a new map, as well as the new payload game mode. So they're going to be able to get a little bit more practiced. So that'll give them a bit of a jump, but it's not going to make it difficult for people to do well for the airdrop based on gameplay. So they'll be just fine. They're also they did a collaboration with Star Atlas. So Star Atlas, we talked about it last week. They're airdropping crew packs as of tomorrow. The snapshot is tomorrow. The airdrop is on the 9th, and then the pack sales go live on the 13th.
Correct.
So the Nyan Heroes team has partnered with Star Atlas, gotten a hold of some of those crew packs. There was actually an event where they invited Nyan Heroes people to go and play around in Star Atlas. I think they were playing Surge, and people that were there, there were crew packs being handed out. So some of that has already happened. But if you're a Nyan Genesis holder, there are some steps you have to go through in order to register. It's with their bot. I can't remember which one they use, but you can register, and they will be dropping crew packs to Nyan Genesis holders, and you can get them through the Discord mini game that the bazaar in there has them available for purchase. It's effectively $25, and so they have a set amount of yarn. I think it's like 2,000 yarn will get you a crew pack for Star Atlas. So neat collaboration. They on Twitter how like there's Star Atlas and Nyan Heroes are like the top 3 like most celebrated Solana games right now. So it's like it's getting really exciting. We've been in this like inert mode for Nyan Heroes for like over a month now, because they closed season 2 and then all gameplay stopped. And so they've just been keeping people engaged through the community. And it's been interesting to see how many people fell away when the game wasn't there. There's been 100, maybe 200 people getting active in this yarn thing. And all of a sudden it turns out it was a really good idea to stick around, because they weren't going anywhere. They really wanted to bring it down and get it right before they gave you a chance to get back in the game. So it's September 4th. I'd imagine people will come flooding back in once that's back up on the Epic Game Store. So, but again, fun game, lots of partnerships, lots of things going on for them. If you like shooters, everyone describes it as an Overwatch style game. I love the idea with the cats. You can climb walls. They've made it so that you can actually they were discussing that. I hope I'm reporting this right, but I think they made it so that you didn't just have to go unidirectionally when you were climbing. You can actually like scramble around along the wall now. Someone was comparing that to the the Venom character from the Marvel, one of the Marvel games, where they can make Venom do it. They can make the mech do it. They should make a mech do it. So anyway, moving on. We got a couple more games or 3 more games that we want to hit. Wild Forest, RTS game that we've been bringing up frequently. they had a strategic round and raised $1.4 million. So they have some runway. The game is already really good. Let's see what they do with it. I just wanted to bring that up because that's awesome. Like the markets are like kind of shambles. Like we titled this one "When It Rains It Pours." In this case, we're talking about news. There's just tons of it coming up. But man, there's all sorts of bad news if you look in the wrong direction right now. So like, let's seriously look at that as a success. You know, $1.4 million coming in for a blockchain game, fun RTS. You know, it's something that well, there's thousands of people playing it because they also posted the final scoreboard for season 2. I did okay, and I'm not even in the top 10,000 as far as I could see. I kind of trailed off at the end of the season, but still, I was playing, and there's a bunch of different people in there, and this is after they got rid of what they diagnosed as bots and cheaters and stuff like that. So still a lot of people playing, and it's fun. So if you're into the RTS, I would say check it out. Another one that we talk about a lot, Spellborn. They opened a new mini game. It's a collaboration with Pirate Nation, which, you know, I hope we haven't dropped the ball on that. I haven't been digging into Pirate Nation as much because I couldn't get access to it. I didn't have the NFT, and it seemed like the prices on those were just climbing. So I wasn't able to play around in it, and so I didn't want to be talking too much about it without having a bunch of knowledge. But it is like doing very well. Everybody that's playing Pirate Nation seems to be enjoying Pirate Nation. It's another 8-bit graphics, just a fun little game, pirate style. You know, you're doing pirate things.
Yeah.
But beyond that, they've partnered up with Spellborn, which is another 8-bit. There's 8-bit Pokemon. You know, you got these great little throwback nostalgic working together. This particular collaboration, you can get pieces from these pictures. It's like kind of puzzle pictures that if you assemble all the pieces, you're going to get some prizes. That includes limited edition emojis and a skateboard. That seems to be one of the cool like centerpieces that each of these collaborations has its own skateboard. And I'd imagine that somewhere down the line, there are going to be people that are like slobbering over the fact that you got first gen skateboards, kind of.
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
like
of course.
I think that's going to be their trademark thing. That's your character skateboard. What's really cool is and we'll talk about pixels in just a second, but I've been wandering around pixels, and you have one pace. Now there are some things that you can get in order to increase your pace, but they're kind of out of touch unless you were there as an OG.
Yeah.
You can in Spellborn, you can hop on a skateboard and just move faster, and it's nice because like I don't know exactly what the speed increase is, but you can tell there's a huge rate difference. If I switch between the two games, I feel like I'm just crawling in pixels. It's like I got to get over there to that building. I'll get there, and then in Spellborn, it's like I got to get over to there. I'm gonna hop on my skateboard and I just like kind of rip across the screen and get there. It's like
falling over.
You can see a difference. So anyway, I don't know where I was going with all that. That was fun. I like skateboards. It's a neat little idea. They also posted some milestones. So the first month is kind of in the rear view now. Again, this is a season 1. They're calling it high stakes. They have 10 million battles fought at the end of the first month, 800,000 monsters captured, and 140,000 users have signed up. So they posted on it's on X. They posted a few different things that they were up to. They ran through the different collabs that they've done. But one of the things that I wanted to point out was this 10 million battles fought in the entirety of the closed alpha. We were scraping. We finally, I think, got to 1 million battles. They opened up the public alpha and people just started like going. You know, so there is a lot of activity happening in this game. So again, still really early. Good chance to get in and have fun. It's not too complicated. You know, there are a couple of things that you kind of need to learn the language a little bit early, and there's a couple little tricks that you want to which I actually pointed out. We have some articles posted on the GG Collective site. Just things that you don't want to make this mistake, but there aren't too many of those. A lot of it is really straightforward. Just go get it, and then if you like those monster collector type games, we do know that battling is coming very soon. We're expecting to see that very soon. So that'll be like a PvP part of this rather than just the PvE that we've been playing. And I did mention Pixels. They did something. They took this farming game and found a way to turn it into a competition, into PvP. So they had their first Guild Wars event, and the idea was to go into the basement of the Pixels headquarters, where there's this big cave area, and you could buy spores for these mushrooms, and you could plant them. And whichever guild threw the most of these mushrooms into the transmutation device was going to win. But they put a little wrinkle in there that you could also buy this stuff that was goo, and if you put goo on somebody else's spores, it destroyed them. So you had this like live action, like people like sabotaging each other's crops thing going on, and we'll have to wait till I haven't seen the scoreboard posted yet as to which guild won, but the competition is over at this point. But it was there were some people that were having fun, and I think there were some people that were like massively frustrated because somebody else was just going around with goo all the time. But
that's so funny.
Anyway, so I mean, there's a way to turn anything into a competition. You take this nice idle game farming type scenario, just set a bunch of rabid competitors loose with goo.
I mean, you got to do something to incentivize the, hey, this is my team, this is my crew. Like, I like it. It's fun.
Yeah, it makes for a real competition, and now you got people really thinking about how they want to do guilds. What is it? What are the attributes that are going to really help you progress through these events that they throw together? Some of it is going to be straight. How much have you accumulated? Particularly your skills. There's a bunch of different skills. In this case, the mushroom crop. That's just one thing, but they could very easily take this into, like, you have to be able to craft certain items that require a skill level that might be unattainable, or maybe they pace it based on your skill level. You can do it much faster depending on how high your skill is, and so people are going to want to build their guilds carefully, and then I'd imagine we'll see some elite ones come out, but I don't think it'll be lopsided. I think there's going to be a few that stand at the top. We've seen that in just about any game that has guilds. I remember the Eternal Paradox stuff. There were 3 regularly vying. It was fun. It'll naturally balance itself out because there's always politics, right? There's always guild politics. Somebody doesn't want to do it a certain way, and they have enough charisma that they draw away some of that team.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's a vendetta, right? It's like, oh, they left, and we hated them. And all of a sudden, but then there's always that loose cannon third unit that's not affiliated. And they're like, but we have a shot because they're at each other. We might be able to squeak past. Anyway, that's games, right? That's why we do it. It's fun.
That's why we do it.
Well, guys, hopefully it is fun. That's what we're talking about. We're finding as much as we can to keep you guys informed about the stuff that's going on, things that are progressing, things that are looking good, and we hope that you guys can get tapped into these things too. I'll say it again, like I do just about every week. If there's something you want us to track, let us know. We will dig in. We will get in there, and we will keep you updated so that you don't have to pour over the Discord all the time. Sometimes some of you like that. Some of you are really tapped in and you really enjoy it. But some of you don't have time, and that's what we're doing. We're taking that time, and hopefully we can do it with a little bit of panache. We'll make it sexy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right, everybody. We'll catch you next week.
We'll see you.